Fitzy, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
I don't have a whole lot written down for today, but hey, did you know that's World Contact Day today?
Context?
Contact. I think it's something to do with like aliens or something. I don't know. Hey, do you know what else is out of this world?
What?
You know what you should do? You should start rating me on how well I'm doing on these segues. What else is
Wait,
out of this world?
what's bad though? What's bad? One is bad or one is good?
One's bad. Scale 1 to 10. What
Okay.
else is out of this world is the personal care our friends from the Wisconsin Lakes team provides to each of their clients. Anyone can say that they're an agent, but not everyone treats their clients as they would like to be treated. And that's what Aaron and Katie do. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, give them a call today or visit them on their website at lakesteamwy.com. All right, how was that one? Scale 1 to 10. Segue.
Well, obviously they are out of this world, so I'll have to give you a 10 on that. But
Oh, nice.
it's
I'll take it.
Need to do better.
It's also National Dumbstruck Day, which is a day about getting dumbstruck for the slightest of things. What I'm dumbstruck by is how many services industrial safety currently offers, including SCBA testing and maintenance, SCBA mask fitting, hose testing and repairs, nozzle repairs, fire extinguisher inspections, maintenance and recharging, kitchen fire suppression inspections, service and maintenance. Man, there's a whole bunch of them here. Their trained service technicians offer full service and testing in a number of products locally at their Clear Lake location or at your location. Find out more by visiting industrialsafetystore.com. How about that one?
I'm just glad no one can see my face while you do these.
So
Yeah.
scale 1 to 10. What do I get on that one?
Ooh, that one was only a 5.
Oh, I'm sorry, Adam Jericho and the Lakes
The
team
team's
there.
industrial safety, yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, March 15th, 2022. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business has provided quality work in roofing, garages, siding, window installations, kitchen and bathroom remodeling, vinyl and hardwood flooring, and you can even build your house or business from the ground up, homie. Like Fitzy and I, Professional Exteriors and Interiors believes that it's the little things that make a big difference. So give them a call today at 715-520-2271. Fitzy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty well. We have not a whole lot to talk about today, or at least I have one thing written down, so it could be a very, very short show.
And we usually say that, and usually we're like, it's 9:30, we have to stop now.
No.
You know, that's
Right.
how we roll. People
That's
really,
how
we
we-
don't really plan for these shows, so
Yeah, I probably should at some point.
I mean, we have a little script, but not. I mean, it's just topic ideas. We don't talk about, what we're going to talk about before we meet. So I think people think there's not a big production meeting that goes into this before we go live,
Yeah, no, there really isn't.
and
No,
maybe
not at all.
people can tell that. I don't know.
Probably. So what's been new with you over the since last week?
Again, pretty quiet week from a crime standpoint. Obviously, no press releases. No big crimes. I mean, it's been great, but the weather is picking up, and we'll talk a little bit that in a little bit. But
Oh, weather.
other than
Okay.
that, it was a pretty low-key weekend. So
Yeah, same here. We 2 weeks ago on Sunday, so my mom comes over for our Bible studies, and been doing it for almost 2 years now. But a couple weeks ago she couldn't because of the weather, so it was nice to have her back on Sunday here at the house for our continued Bible study with our family. And our kids are off this week, which that's just normal at this point. They're just
so they
always
hope they could be on the show. We could have them as a
Yeah.
guest.
Oh, I should have. I kicked them upstairs.
Oh,
Yeah, I should have thought about that. That'd have been
Yeah.
nice. I could have taken the
They
day
could've-
off.
yeah, we could have talked about the Spooner middle school, right? Spooner Middle School and the problems in the middle school. Could have went deep, hard into the issues.
That's
See?
a good one.
Obviously, we don't plan very well, people. Sorry.
No, we really don't, because that's a brilliant idea. We totally should have done that.
Yeah. I'm sure they're
so-
up watching, right? They'll come right down.
No, I told them to don't get on the internet. They don't have internet
Oh.
upstairs anyway.
Oh.
I don't want to lose any of our streaming stuff. So, one thing I had written down here, and it's the only thing that I do, is, well, I can't read it. Right. So last week we talked about it, and I put a post up yesterday, and today will be Burnett. So for the next 5 days, so 6 days this week, Monday through Saturday, in alphabetical order from Barron through Washburn County, we are spotlighting the anonymous donation that was essentially kind of given to the Badger State Sheriff Association, which was then distributed to our area counties and sheriff's offices and the things that they got. So yesterday we focused on you. Today will be Burnett, and it was my headline was anonymous donation leads to new equipment for Barron County Sheriff's Office, and that
Yep.
is what you're purchasing.
Yep, that's what I have them sitting in my office. They all showed up, and I have them all, and we're going to distribute them to our deputies next week. We just got to get the cords and everything all set. We're going to
It
just
didn't
give
come
them
with
out.
cords.
Well, they got to be charged, and yeah, we got to write the serial numbers down, know which deputy we give them to, etc. So we only got 11 so far. We're looking at getting some more money to buy a few more because that would outfit our whole department. But yeah, this and we're going to talk. I believe next week Dean Meyer will be on to tell us about the donation itself. Correct?
Shoot, you know what? Well, hold on. Call
Dean,
Dean
and remind him. I think.
Meyer.
Yeah.
Well, he was supposed to be, but I think he's back from vacation at that point. But yeah, we'll talk more about that donation part of it. We really wanted to spotlight each county. So
Correct.
you had received, I think, $20,000,
Correct.
and that's what you use these on. 11 of them, and so I'm just looking at this, and there's those two pictures. I can't zoom in on it, but what is it? One looks like is that a heat thing?
Well,
Is that what they are? So explain what these things are.
So basically, we had to use the money for officer safety. It couldn't be
Mhm.
used for anything else. The part of the donation was officer safety. And so we went with what we would consider basically a want versus a need. It wasn't something we needed. I mean, they're nice, but I had a deputy put that helped to find some of these items, and I met with some of our deputies and said, really, what's something you'd really like that would make your job better, safer. And the one deputy said this is a force multiplier. Basically, when he gets out of his car at night, he scans around. Say they're going to a domestic. And we talked a little bit off the air about municipal police departments versus sheriff's departments. And obviously, we're a rural sheriff's department. Washburn County is a rural setting. They only have one. They have 4 police departments in Washburn. I have 6 municipalities in Barron County. So when we go to a call, it might be 10 miles out in the country. There might be no other houses around. It might be a domestic call. So it might be, we don't exactly know what's going on. So when the deputy gets there by himself, because he might be the closest car, and the next car might be 10 or 15 miles away, he can get out and he can scan the front yard of the house, and he can look at that and say, boy, there's no one out there hiding. Basically, I can look for heat signatures. It could be somebody hiding behind a building or next to a building or in a tree or whatever it is. So what we're calling it is a force multiplier. It gives our officers safety when they go to a scene. Maybe they got to a scene and somebody ran from the scene. Well, instead of being all by themselves and looking, they can stand at their car where they have the protection and the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
They can scan around and say, oh, there's a heat signature, over by the tree, behind the house. And they're going to see that heat signature. They might not be able to tell if the guy's holding the gun or not holding the gun. I mean, they're not that accurate, but
I get it now.
it's a force multiplier. So he can, without having backup and somebody with a flashlight looking around, he's able to check his behind him, make sure no one's coming up behind him, because it's going to check for these heat sources. Now, it's going to also help when we're looking for somebody. Now, where people run from us all the time, and not everybody says stops when we say stop police.
What?
No, not everybody does that. So, and so people hide under decks and different places, and we're able to find heat signatures. It even tells you, during a chase, if a car was just driven, the car puts a glow out. It's a heat signature. You can actually put your handprint on the wall. We were testing these ones here. We put a handprint on the wall, and we could actually see the handprint 5 minutes later where somebody had touched. Yeah, so it's pretty intense. If we were searching for somebody in a building or something like that, it was dark. We can use.
I would have liked to have seen a video of that, of you
Yeah.
guys just doing that, like putting your hands on the. Ooh, look, check it out. We can still see the
I can see your
hand.
hand. Um, what this feature actually is pretty neat function is actually we can videotape something. So it's kind of neat. So we can actually videotape somebody hiding somewhere, and we could either use it as evidence, we can use it to bring back to our SWAT team. So our night people are going to have this, our detectives are going to have this, and we hope to put it with our day cars down the road. We're looking at some more grant money to find. We could use 11 more, and we could outfit everybody in our department with them. So I think we're going to be able to get there really close to there with some other grant money. So it's a pretty neat feature. We're very thankful to the anonymous donor. We do not know who it is. I don't even think Dean knows who it is. And he can tell you how that money came about next week, because
Yeah,
I don't really know the answer, except we got
it was
a
awesome.
form
It
that says,
was.
"Would you like
I can't wait.
$20,000?"
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to tell that story. I want Dean to, but when I get called and asked him about it, he told me, and it was incredible. And to be honest, and I think it's okay that I share this part that we must have had about, I don't know, half hour, 45-minute conversation. There were 3 different times where he got choked up and was kind of crying just about this story. I mean, it was just an incredible story. I can't wait to have him on to talk about it. So you kept bringing up force multiplier. I have no idea what that means. I just
Yeah,
Googled it, so I don't know how accurate this is. It's from Wikipedia, so
yeah.
whatever.
Well, it's just smart
Uh,
words that I say. You don't have to
sure.
look them up.
That's why I always have to look them up because I never know any of them. Force multiplication or a force multiplier refers to a factor or a combination of factors that gives personnel or weapons or other hardware, in this case hardware, the ability to accomplish greater feats than without it.
Right.
So that makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yep. It's just a
That
cool word to use. Yeah. Yeah.
force multiplier, I love it. So what's the one on the? So there's like the heat signature, the one on the left there, but one in the middle that doesn't like the
Just
heat thing.
different. You can change the colors. It shows different objects. I mean, it's all based on color. And I don't know a lot about these. That's why. I mean, I'm not a
Sure.
hunter. I mean, I like to go out in the woods,
Wait,
but I don't use these things.
hunters use this stuff?
Well, yeah.
How
I
can
mean,
I
yeah.
don't understand how people go out at this with the technology we have now. Clearly, we have don't really have a lot to talk about today. Uh, with all the technology we have now, you tell me you go out hunting and you can't get a deer. I mean, you got thermal for crying out loud.
Now we put cameras down in the fish hole and watch the fish on the hook. And yeah, exactly. It would be great
Oh,
hunters. If we had $1 million, I could hunt. I could catch anything. Can buy all this
holy,
cool technology. Yeah. But no, so I didn't know a lot about this, and so some of our people have their own, whether they use them for personal and they just carry them in their squad. But this is just just a great tool for our people to make sure. Well, yeah, Dave Wilson, duh.
Dave. I want to. No, he doesn't. He's frugal. He uh,
Yeah,
he probably takes the police. I'm going to get him in trouble just by even jokingly saying this. He probably takes if they have one for the Shellick Police Department. He takes it out hunting with him.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I'm sure he
Dave's a
does.
natural hunter. He doesn't. He just uses his finger and touches his finger and said the wind's coming from the east, and I know. Yeah. Dave's a mighty hunter. We know that.
By the way, I did do last week. We had brought up if Mike Schaefer comments. I do have, even though he didn't want to. So
Yeah.
one of these days when he's watching, I'm ready to go with his own sound.
Oh, so if he comments, you're going to give him a sound.
Yeah, but he's usually not because he's probably still
He's
at home
working.
sleeping or at work. Probably that too.
Yeah, he probably works.
So when you get these things, or you have them now and you put them in, is it go on like a is it mounted in the car? I would assume that would be no, it wouldn't be that, right?
No,
But
it's
is there like a
handheld.
handle for it?
Right. There's a strap on it, a handle, and you just look through it. It's a monocular. They make
That's awesome.
monocular versions, and they make monoculars, and these are monoculars that
Um,
gives their other eye available to look around and do other things. So they wanted monocular versions, and so it's just it's a good technology. I mean, our jobs are all about technology now, and we have to stay up with the times. And it's money like this that we can use to make our
yeah,
department better. And so, the 5 or 6 sheriff's departments that everybody locally got one. Some
mhm,
departments chose not to do it because they had the equipment, and it had to be used for. You couldn't use it for staffing. You couldn't use it. There was very specific things you couldn't use it for. It had to make
yeah.
sure your officers. You had to increase officer safety with this. So that might have been body cameras. Some people use them for. I heard it might be night vision, drones, a lot of different things. And I don't know what our other departments.
Well, the
You're
one
putting.
that we're going to be doing today, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to read. It would be up when we're finished, like a half an hour when we finish the show. I'll put it up. It's from
Okay.
Tracy Finch in Burnett. That thing is awesome. I can't wait to put that one up. That is so good. You probably already have one because you have.
Yeah, we're Barron County. Yeah.
Well, a lot larger budget. You're 3 times the size.
Right.
So, yeah. So speaking of that, then hold on. Municipalities. So something that we quickly, like the 10 seconds before we went live, I just had a quick question for you about it. But now that got me thinking, like, how does all this stuff work? You had mentioned that there's 6 municipalities in Barron. Hold on, let me see if I can guess them. Barron, right? Chetek.
Yep.
Rice Lake.
Yep.
Turtle Lake.
Yep.
Does Cameron have one?
Yep.
Oh, they do. And does anyone else? No, don't give me the last one. See if anybody else knows. Like,
it's 6 Island City.
What does that mean? Oh, Cumberland.
Yeah, there you go.
Cumberland. So there's 6 of them there. In Washburn, there's Shell Lake, Spooner, Minong, and Birchwood.
Right.
So there's 4 here. Cumberland. See, Amanda got it. There was a delay. Sorry about that.
Cumberland Riverbank.
And then, so Washburn's about the same size as Burnett. And Burnett has, I think, 3? Siren, Grantsburg, and Webster? They have another one?
I don't think Webster. Do they have a police department?
Yeah.
Webster Police Department? I know Grantsburg does. I know Siren does.
Well, I thought, no, they do, I think. No, yeah, they definitely do. So anyway, but then I was looking at Rusk County, for example, and Rusk is about the same size as Burnett, which has, we think, 3 police departments. And Washburn has 4, again, excluding the sheriff's offices. And you have 6, but Rusk has 1. Right. Ladysmith, right? That's it.
And they're in the same building. The Ladysmith PD and the sheriff's department are in the same building, even.
So I'd have to look at a map. I guess I don't know like where Ladysmith is in the county. Like, are they in the middle or towards the edge? Because I'm sure most people know that the police departments is for the city limits for the most part, right? You stay in your city limits. It's your city. You're a municipality.
That's their jurisdiction. They don't have jurisdiction outside of it.
Sure, but the county then has to cover everything else that is not in a city. So when it's like Rusk, like if you all of a sudden, if Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald said, I don't know, we'll do like a wife swap, except it's going to be sheriff swap, and you go to Rusk County, and what are the challenges that you're seeing that you would face right away, or an adjustment for you right away, juxtaposed to where you are now with a larger budget, a lot more people though. There is that, but also 6 municipalities. Does that make a difference when you have more municipalities?
100%. It's way, when Rusk County has a complaint 20 miles away, we're lucky. Barron is in the middle, so I always have the Barron Police Department, which is 24/7. But in Chetek is 24/7. Rice Lake is 24/7 and Cumberland is 24/7, but Turtle Lake and Cameron are not. So, but I'm able to use those municipalities, those 24/7 municipalities, to help me out every day. And we help them out too, because they're a one-man. If there's a domestic in Chetek, I just got subpoenaed for a trial. I got to go to court now, municipal court, over a fight that I backed a Chetek officer up on. So
that's what you get for helping.
Yeah, it's what I get for helping, but I hope I'm not the star witness.
Yeah, we'll do a live show from there with you on the stand.
Right. Me on the stand, yeah, that's right. Court TV live. But anyway, so we help them, they help us. It's a great effort. We work together. We're doing, we've done some traffic details in Turtle Lake to work on the drug issue with Chief Gabi. We help with their festivals. Obviously, the Cumberland Rutabaga Festival is the biggest festival in Barron County. And obviously, Chief Wolf, she has 4 deputies or officers besides her. Sometimes, they can't work 24/7. So we come over and help when they need it, just to be there for more support, when the bars close or the dance ends or whatever it is. So We help them with their rutabaga race or rutabaga run, things like that.
Mhm.
That's how we work together. And they get to utilize this equipment. Not that but if they needed a thermal, our night guy would run it over to them and we'd use it with them. Our drone, our SWAT team. We don't charge for any of that when we go into the Cumberland or we go into they use our drone or whatever it is. There's
Mhm.
no use of everybody having a drone because why? They're great tools,
Right.
but there's no use of every department having a drone when we have one and we have trained people here and we assist. So and they may have a piece of equipment that we don't have. Obviously with us having a SWAT team, that means a little bit different, and we obviously have a larger budget and people say, oh, the sheriff's department gets everything. Well, we have a larger budget, compared to Russ County or to Burnett County, whatever it is. But
Mhm.
Burnett has their own SWAT team. Russ now supplements our SWAT team. It's almost 50-50, so it works out really well. But there's no use having my own SWAT team when they only need it 4 times a year and we need it 4 times a year. Now we've supplemented and reduced tax levy on 2 counties by supplementing a SWAT team.
Sure.
So and so it all works out. Municipalities are very important to sheriff's departments. Sheriff's departments are very important to municipalities, and I have great relationships with all of our chiefs. We try to meet monthly or every couple months just to talk about different issues. And hiring is a big issue for police departments right now. It's knock on wood, it's not at the sheriff's department level, but
Why
municipalities are.
is that, you think?
Well, I think it
I
has to
mean,
do with pay. Sheriff's departments
okay.
sometimes make more money. Um, and sheriff's departments have more opportunity for advancement over a police department. You have a 4-man police department. There's You're the chief and 3 deputies. Dave doesn't. If we talk about Dave Wilson, he doesn't have a SWAT team or a sergeant and a canine and a this and a that and a drug detective, and they're all of that. Their patrolman is all of those positions. So
Mm.
it's tough when those. But it also has to do with pay. Municipalities should get paid this. All the municipalities should get paid the same. They all do
Good.
the same job, but if you look at all 6 departments, I bet you there's 6 different payrolls, 6 different amounts for starting payroll for their police departments. I bet you they're all different. And
Okay, so I thought what you were saying there was going to be the difference between pay from being a police officer in Cameron or Rice Lake versus a deputy for the county. Is
right,
is
I'm saying that,
But
but
you're
I'm
saying
also
that even
saying
like in the different municipalities in Barron County, there's a difference. That just, I'm sure there's well. Tell us, why is that? Why can't we just have it, a universal number?
I think it has to do with what your municipality can get away with. I mean, I think our people should get paid more money, but obviously the tax levy of Barron County doesn't allow that. So we pay what we think we can, and the union negotiates that. There's police unions are still a thing, and so they negotiate their wage, which is what unions can negotiate now. Is really the only thing they can negotiate is wage.
Mm.
But they're different in all 6 of those departments, and sometimes it might be $1 less or $2 more, and so I might go work and I have no idea, Chautauqua versus Barron or Barron versus Turtle Lake. It might be I get more money. Maybe that municipality you can vote today and raise your raises, but obviously it costs more tax money. So I assume it's the same between Shell Lake and Spooner. I would guess Shell Lake pays less than Spooner, just based on
Yeah.
size and call volume and everything else you can use to negotiate to pay less or pay more.
Yeah, that I kind of feel like that should be buttoned up, because that, I think, also then leads to the retention. I would assume. I mean, if you can go just down 6 miles away, 8, 10, 12, 15 miles away, and make more to do the same job. Uh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So, man, yeah, I just looked it up real quick. I updated this story yesterday. Joseph Hadrow has been arrested and is in custody.
Yep.
Hadrow was arrested in Anoka County without incident. So there. Oh, and then see, she already answered it. Look at that. I tell you, full-time benefits. Most. What does it say? Most.
Part-time officers have full-time jobs and work for
Mm,
several agencies. The smaller municipalities have mutual aid agreements, and we all go over when help is needed. That is true, and there is no more really having part-time officers is kind of it's going to be a tight summer for some of our departments. And just talking to Joe, the Baron Chief, just the other day, it's like finding part-time people is really hard. I know Chief Ron and Shatek is having a tough time with that. And a lot of them are getting rid of their part-time positions and creating full-time spots
I
and
think
saying,
that's
well,
even what Dave has mentioned in the past. And so when I had brought up the retention part of it, so he must agree equal pay across the board. Dave, if you wouldn't, boy, we should just have him on for crying out loud instead of going,
yeah,
just get on. Oh, he probably doesn't know how.
yeah.
Equal pay across the board helps retention. Yeah, because again, you're going from one to the next, and I think that's one of those, especially in our smaller towns. Because let's face it, the Camerons and Chateks, and maybe not Rice Lake, but then again, probably still that's still small enough. The nice thing is you really get to know the people in that city.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that deputies don't get to know other people, but when you have a small area like a Shell like police officer or a Spooner cop or a Baron officer, you really get to know your town. Really get to know them. And the longer you're there, I mean, it's hard to replace that experience and that knowledge of I know that this house.
Yeah.
And I know, oh, and they're, oh, she's always great. And yep, she always goes. There's something kind of neat about that. So you don't want to have them going from one place to another, I wouldn't
And
think.
if you were a Shell Lake cop or a Spooner cop, and what are they, 6 miles apart? Not
Yep,
even. And so, if Spooner pays $1.50 more for a starting job, and they have
done.
opportunity to become a sergeant or a canine, where Dave doesn't, I'm a cop. Why wouldn't I take that $1.50 more for my family and more opportunity for advancement? Shell Lake should be sitting there saying the same with Cameron and Barron and Shatek and Turtle Lake. We're going to all pay the exact same. We're going to pay $1 less than the sheriff's department, or the exact same as the sheriff's department. I don't care.
Yeah,
They're going to the same bank robbery that I'm going to. So
right.
use the sheriff's department as example, and then you won't have people jumping for that $1.50 more an hour.
Which you can't
Um,
blame them for. I mean, I want to make
Absolutely
more
not. None
money
of us.
to provide for my family. What a jerk.
Well, and we see that right now in the dispatch and jail world, not just in Barron County, but across the nation, where people are like, I can work even at a a Monday through Friday job for $1 less an hour, and I don't have to work nights and weekends and deal with criminals in the jail or
Right.
dispatch calls for help or whatever it is. So we're seeing that you're seeing that on ads on the radio. You're seeing business one saying we're going to 410s, and we're going to, this one saying you get every other weekend off, and this one saying, you can work when you want and just come and work for us. And we're going to pay night differential at $3 more an hour versus this factory or this business paying $2 more an hour. So
Hmm.
we're seeing this competitive edge right now, which is hurting public service, just in general, because people are saying I don't have to work nights and weekends, and I can make even the same or $1 less. I'll take the $1 less and not work nights and weekends.
Yeah. Yeah. Or in my case, so I was 18 and I was working at the Walmart distribution center in Menominee. And it was 4 10-hour shifts. And I think the pay was like $12 an hour, which was pretty good back then. I mean, it's actually still kind of pretty good right now, but that was, I don't know, 1996, how many years ago that was. And then they had a new shift starting. And I was working, sorry, Tuesday through Friday, I think. So I still had weekends off. And then they opened up a new shift. It was 3 12-hour shifts, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6 in the morning to 6 at night. But they gave us like $1.50 more. When you're 18, you're like, sure, I don't care.
Mhm.
But I got to tell you, I didn't enjoy it as much. There's something that happens after like 10 hours. You just kind of, when it's manual labor. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. But the 4 days off, I was thinking this is going to be awesome. I got 4 days off. Yeah, you get
Mhm.
bored fast. And then I found that I was spending a lot of money because you got
Right.
nothing to do on your 4 days off in the weekdays, Monday through Thursday off. What do? I don't know, you go to the movies and you go buy stuff.
Go to Burger King 3 times a day. I don't know.
Pretty
You
much.
know, you didn't cook when you were 18.
No,
So,
I didn't. I'm 45 and I still don't cook. I have no idea what that's about, Dan. I apologize.
well, and I don't believe they're looking for him anymore. And that's probably all I can say. Um,
Okay.
I think, I don't think he's missing anymore. But that's a Washburn County thing. And I don't know that
Oh,
it's an official law enforcement thing. I think I heard it through back channels.
sure.
Um, and so I don't know the whole detail in that, and I think that will come out. But I don't believe they're looking for anybody anymore.
Oh,
I
sure.
know they're not looking for anybody.
Well,
So
and we didn't
I,
get a press release, so I don't know anything about it. That's
and
literally the
I
first
don't
time
think
I've heard about it.
right. I did see something about some kind of it wasn't an official website or Facebook page, whatever
Sure.
it was.
Oh, okay.
So
All
I
right.
don't think. But they're not looking for anybody that I know of anymore. There's no crime in Barron County. Yeah, Dave Wilson not missing anymore there. Now we have an
Perfect.
official.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi,
So
Dave.
I think it's scary to have a casino in the casino hotel and not have 24/7 coverage. Yeah, Chief Gobby wishes the same thing, but that's
Oh,
again,
Chief Gabby.
that has to do with funding. That has to do with pay. That has to do with that. The casino's not open right now. I think it might go back to 24/7 this summer. They close, I think, at 3 a.m. and open back up at 6. So they are closed for 3 hours. But the hotel and the drugs and things like that, and the casino works with us uh, greatly right now. They're working with us on doing everything they can and there's tribal law enforcement in all of our counties too, Polk, Barron, and Burnett.
Oh,
Um, I
totally
didn't think
forgot
about
about that.
them, but
Hmm.
we have such a, but they do cover our county and they do mutual aid us and we mutual aid them all the time. So there's another department I forgot to talk about.
And I'm glad
But
you
that,
brought up Chief Gobby
mhm.
because I had talked to him a few weeks ago about something, and I was supposed to send him an email, and I forgot until
Yeah.
just now. And it's because I found out that he's retiring.
Yeah, I
So I
heard that.
think the end of I can't remember what he said now. End of this year. So I said I'd send him some questions and do a story on him, and I kind
Yeah,
of completely forgot about that until just now. So I'll have to
no,
contact Dean Meyer and Chief Gobby.
yeah, and he's this Turtle Lake's going to really miss him, and they know
That
it.
dude's awesome.
Yeah, he is. He's legit. Yeah. But and he does all he can over there, and I don't know that they're gonna, you know, it's gonna be tough to replace that, but it's that hometown feel, and you
Yep.
start to see that spread out. You see it in Minneapolis. You see that you talked about knowing which house is who and knowing people, and
You.
obviously I was from Rice Lake, so it was a lot easier for me being a Rice Lake cop. You know, some of the cops in Rice Lake don't live in the area, and
Mm,
so they just come here and work and they go home, which is okay. They're good cops, but it's not the same as knowing the Shell Lake school system or the Spooner school system or whatever. It's not that local touch. You lose a little bit of that, but you see that in big cities all over. The Minneapolis cops don't live in Minneapolis; they live in suburbs, so they don't know really they don't spend their time there. When I spend my time in Rice Lake, I don't go to the library, but the Rice Lake Library,
right. I
you
mean, I
know,
don't go to the library.
but I
That's
know
stupid.
I know about events going on because my kids bring it home from school or my wife brings it home from the hospital or wherever. So you're connected more when you live there, work there, and play there. So you lose some of that touch, and I worry about that in law enforcement. And it's tougher at a sheriff's department. That was the biggest switch that I had, is I only had to concentrate on Rice Lake and the Rice Lake School,
Yeah.
and now I concentrate on Prairie Farm School and New Auburn School and the Barron, Cameron. You got all these other school districts that got stuff going on that we
Mm,
want to be part of. I want to bring Coffee with the Cop back. I'm going to bring that back in April across the county, and we're going to do some cool things with our community engagement team. I'm going to create a new kind of division and let some of our guys do some community engagement. I mean, right now we have some time to do some community engagement, and we're going to do that
mm.
when we're not we don't have 17 crimes to go to right now, knock on wood. So we're going to change to some community policing model here very shortly. Now that it's spring and summer, and speaking of that, when it gets really warm this week, speeds are going to go up because we're so happy it's nice out. The roads are good, so don't speed. Watch your speedometer, set your cruise, remind your kids, whatever it is. Speeds go up when the sun comes up.
Okay,
Um,
that's. I'll circle back to that in a second. But
yeah.
talking about the sheriff's office, and now you have a whole bunch of schools. When we first started Dryden Wire, it was just pretty much just Washburn County. Actually, it was that first
Mhm.
year, and then we quickly realized that it didn't matter about the line, so we needed to expand. So now it's like 6 counties. But that's why I still feel like we are not doing nearly enough because to like everybody else gets to see Dryden Wire as the end result. But I have a list of things that of all of the articles and the stories that I wanted to do that I just didn't get time to do. So I always look at it that way. So I always feel like it's just not a good enough product yet until we're able to start doing those. But it was the same thing. Like it's hard for me to learn more about like Clayton or following a story in Hayward when it's what I'm not from there, so it's a little more difficult. Uh, you're almost like spreading yourself a little bit too thin, so you don't want to go
Mhm.
too far out. But it's what we needed to do, and obviously for you, being sheriff, that's kind
Yeah.
of part of the gig. But when you were in Rice Lake, it's just I know these people, and I know them well. And I wanted to ask you, with that being said, when it comes to the perception that people have of their local law enforcement, we've always talked about in Northwest Wisconsin, cops got it pretty good in terms of the respect from the community. It is 10 out of 10. If there is an 11 out of 10, it's 11 out of 10. But you look at it, we'll just use Minneapolis. Well, we're banging on Minneapolis here, but what would their number be? Now, you could make an argument. There's a lot of reasons why that wouldn't be a 10, and that's perfectly justifiable and understandable. But is that a component to it? When it's so big, it's nobody's fault per se. It's just we're a huge city. Even if I lived in Minneapolis and I was a cop in Minneapolis, I don't know all these people. It's a big city.
Right.
Where is
There's-
that playing into this? That actually helps us because we know these people. We live with these people. Our kids go to school together.
Yeah, but I think, you look at Minneapolis, and I don't know how they work, but you look at the New York Police Department, and they're, the largest police department in the nation, but they're broken down into little municipalities in my condition, little boroughs, little
Boroughs. Sure.
precincts. So you get to know your precinct. That's your job. But I think
Oh,
cops move from precinct to precinct very easily. So you kind of lose some of that. It'd be like me taking a Chautauqua cop and moving them to Barron and then saying, oh, go work in Cumberland this year. And then, oh, you want to work in Turtle Lake now because they have a sergeant positioning in that borough or that precinct. So you're supposed to learn your precinct, and that's where community policing comes into play. That's
sure.
why I'm a huge believer in community policing and getting our guys outside of our squad cars to do whatever it is. You'll see our guys throwing frisbees in Prairie Farm, and then you'll see them on Main Street in Rice Lake the next, doing whatever. So you're supposed to get out. You make what you want of it, and that's why I want a community engagement team. So because I want to engage our community even more. Um, I believe in that. That's where you get the support. That's where you thank them for your support, and that's where you get ideas. That's why we're doing this show. People are like, why do you do it every week? It's like because somebody might ask us a question about the missing snowmobile. We might be able to answer that, and they can help us, stop a rumor or enhance something that we're trying to promote or do something like that.
Mhm.
That's what Dryden Wire gets us. That's what works for us, and that's why you've got to be connected. And that's why my job isn't Jason Liu, my chief deputy, runs our department. My job is outside of this building and doing things like this and community talks and whatever it is. That's my belief. I mean, you can come in and be the next sheriff and decide you don't want that, but that's what I believe the role of the sheriff is in a community, is being out there. And so,
We talked about that before, like being the
yeah,
face of that. You call it a sheriff's department. I always call it a sheriff's office because it's an
right.
elected position. Um, but that is being the face of it, and I've personally always felt that way too. If there's I think Dad used to even, probably to the annoyance of all the cops. Uh, 4th of July in Shell Lake, Dad was down there directing traffic. The Spooner Rodeo, he's right there. He's got his cowboy hat on and he's uniformed and he's directing traffic because it's not that another cop doesn't know how to direct traffic,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about the visibility. It's so other people also see I'm out here doing this. And I think I've always believed in, I think just because I've watched Dad do it for so many years, I've always thought that's what a big part of a sheriff's role. Now, again,
Right.
like you said, somebody else could do it differently. That's perfectly fine. It's just
Right.
how I've always looked at it.
Correct. And I think I've set the bar high, and I try to raise my bar every day. And that's how you make yourself better, your department better, and your community better. And that's how you get to meet people doing that. I direct traffic a
Yeah.
lot too at the fair. I don't have to. I got six
No.
guys that like I should do that. My sheriff's standing out there. I should be directing traffic instead of sitting in the air conditioning. I
Yeah.
enjoy that. I enjoy being with the people.
Yeah.
That's why I love my job. I mean, that's what it's about, is being with the people. And if I'm not with the people, it's it's not as fun for me.
Yeah.
You know, my people are there to handle the crime and take care of it and do what they're supposed to be doing.
That's right.
Stop the speeders and work on that. So,
Busted drugs. So, hey,
with
go
not a
back to.
lot.
I'm sorry.
You
Go
know, go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, I'm not going to. You go.
I'm not going. No. So
You're
you
going
were
to talk
talking
about
about
speeders, and
speed.
that's
Yeah.
what I want to talk
Yeah. So I would assume. Actually, I have no data, but it has to be just because I'm also a driver. If it's bad weather, of course I'm going to slow down. Whether it's raining hard or even just regular raining, if it's snowing. But you're saying this has nothing to do with the weather in terms of precipitation or the road conditions. It could be beautiful day, roads are super clear. It's 10 degrees outside. Same day, same situation, except now it's 60 degrees outside. You're going to have more people speeding on a 60. So just based on the temperature, nothing about the
No,
road conditions, just the
your
temperature.
first temperature. Your It's no different than the idea when the first snowfall hits, everybody goes in the ditch for some reason, even though we all
Oh,
know
I
how to
get it.
drive. It's the idea that today or tomorrow it's going to be 60 degrees out. The sun's going to be beating on us. We all want to be outside. So it's just the idea. I'm having my window down and I'm like, oh, smell the air and look at the sun and oh my gosh, the snow is melting. Oh my gosh, I'm doing 68 miles an hour instead of 55. Um, that's what I mean. You're just paying attention to so many other things around you. You're not worried about your speed. So that first couple warm days, it's always you're just enjoying it rather than
Yeah.
concentrating on your driving. And
Okay,
that's all
that
I'm
makes
saying.
sense.
There's no scientific data out there, but I'm telling you, we'll get more speeding complaints. And one, the roads are not clear of the sand and salt and stuff like that. So it's, when you take a corner, you don't want to be going too fast, et cetera. So you still see some of that, the road conditions. You start to watch out for motorcycles. You start to see people running and out
Oh,
on.
right.
So you've got to pay more attention to your surroundings now. And people don't because they're so happy that it's 60 degrees and they can have their window down and they're just fresh air and people are happier. And that's what's going to happen this week. So we're going to concentrate on speed enforcement. Um, that's our biggest thing, I think. Besides the methamphetamine complaints we get, our next biggest complaint really is speed.
Really?
So
Yeah, these are like county roads, though. Like, these punk kids and their long hair and their Dan Fogelberg music
yeah,
driving too
yeah,
fast
that's
down
what
the
it
road.
is. Yeah. So just enjoy the weather, but watch your speed. There's the safety tip of the week. So
Okay, yeah, you need to start arresting more people. I put up your Barron County
yeah, jail.
jail bookings
Yeah,
this morning. I'm like, that's it? Don't you
yeah,
have quotas to hit or something? I don't know how it
yeah.
works.
We don't have quotas.
Oh, okay.
Um, Yep. See, look at Tiffany says I'm going 50 down Main Street. What Main Street do you drive on? Where I've sent our people. No,
Hey, speaking of,
this is a speed trap. Right?
I
It's
have a
not a speed
question.
trap. Wait, I wasn't. It's not a speed trap unless you're speeding. Okay, so you can't call it a speed trap because it's not. People call it. No, there's speed trap is out on
Yeah.
53, and it's not a speed trap unless you're speeding.
What is it called? What do you call it?
It's called speed enforcement,
Speed
and we only
enforcement.
enforce it. So it's
I don't
not.
know.
Well, it's
Speed.
not a speed trap. It can't be a trap. We're not trapping you in anything. We don't make you go faster.
That's true.
So I don't like speed traps. But anyway,
Oh. Hey, gas prices. That's a good point, Amy.
gas. I don't know if you ever driving slow with gas. Oh, that's maybe that'll help. I don't want to
No.
see your gas prices. I'd rather enforce speeders than have expensive gas prices. So hopefully we can. I'll send the president a note saying you can reduce the gas prices. I'm not worried about speeders.
So Brian, so this is Brian Daniels, who is from Professional Exteriors and Interiors. I haven't
Right.
read this yet. So we are Professional Exteriors and Interiors donated our time this morning installing storm door for an older General Men.
Things make a big difference. Little things make a big difference.
His face. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. I love
Look at
that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what people need to do. There was a thing on the evening news about people just angry, and hopefully we get out of this COVID and we get out of this winter and we go into summer and we've just got to do the little things that make a big difference. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
We've got to simplify our lives a little bit, and it works, and
It-
that's what we got to do.
I have a quick question for you here. It's a law question about a law.
Oh,
I'm
I
asking
don't
for
know.
a friend.
Okay.
If my friend has a vehicle that has larger tires than what it originally came with, and it kind of screws up the speedometer. Like 5 miles off.
Okay.
But, you can download little speed, app things and see, okay, so if it says you're doing 55, you're really doing 60. So you know this already.
Okay.
Is that illegal to not have it exactly accurate?
Well, only if you get caught. I mean,
And how would you anyway?
Well,
Is there
no,
like little
because
testers?
no, because I wouldn't know. But if you're speeding, you can't use that as an excuse. They're like, oh, my tires are off 5 miles an hour, officer. So my speedometer says 55, but I know I'm really going 60. That's not an excuse for the law. So you're
Sure. Could I get
I don't
or
care
could
for
somebody get
speedometer.
a ticket for that?
Only for speeding.
Okay.
There's no way to figure it
Okay.
out. So and it's your job to certify your speedometer.
Their job. Somebody else's, not my job. I was asking for a friend.
Yeah, your friend's job. Right. Right.
All right. March Madness. You fill our bracket?
I haven't yet, but I will.
I'm going to too. I have no idea. This is like, there's
picking
no real
two
clear front runner. Gonzaga looks pretty strong. Baylor could repeat, but other than that, I have no idea. I just hope Duke tries to get to like the Elite Eight or something.
Yeah, that's yeah. Dave says only for white Jeep owners.
Whatever, Dave. So when do we have to have our brackets, done? When does it start? I forget.
Thursday. Well, technically tonight, but Thursday during the day, and Thursday, I think 11. I think is the first game. So.
All right. See, Shasta. See, there's a whole bunch of issues with speedometers. It's a thing.
Yeah.
All right. What do you have coming up this week?
I don't think anything. March
No
Madness.
hockey. So you have nothing to do now that there's hockey. No hockey.
And there's hockey, so my life is over. Hockey's done. We've won it all. We can't do anything more. So hockey starts back up in 2 weeks. I think we get 2 weeks off, and then we're playing on a different team. So.
Well, I'll have to excuse me. I'll have to print off or do one of those. Have you ever done it like online, like at ESPN or CBS Sports?
Yeah,
done it that way? Really? I've never done it. Where do you go through?
CBS Sports. I like.
Oh,
CBS
that's what I've heard is the best one. Maybe I'll try it.
Yeah, well, CBS Sports is the, national carrier of it. So I like it because there's 4 different stations, 4 different games on. If one's blowout, it's just upset Cinderella team. I love the underdog, and let's go and make a difference. That's all I got. I got nothing. So slow down. Be careful on the lakes. The lakes are going to soften up. That includes your animals and your people and your cars and your snowmobiles and it's 60 degrees. It's going to deteriorate very fast. So be careful on the lakes.
I didn't even think about that animal part. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, be careful with your animals. I've never lived in a lake, so I don't fish or certainly not ice fishing. Like the only thing, like there must have just been someone one day that said, it's a gorgeous day out here fishing, but it's boring as snot. This is just terrible. There's nothing that could make this worse. And someone says, I know. Let's do this when it's 20 below.
In a little shack.
Why would people do this? They have fish at the store. Yeah. Well, this Thursday, I'll have Tom Tiffany on. Congressman Tom Tiffany will be on. He was supposed to be on last week for a regular show, but he was on a flight somewhere. So he will be on this Thursday. So that'll be live at 8:30. I'm assuming the topic will come up. I think he or somebody being sued, or I don't know if you heard anything about that. I can't remember who it was. The Minocqua Brewing Super PAC something suing a few people, and I don't know. Everybody's always suing. So. Yeah, I know. I told my wife the other day, man, we don't have a lot of money. Who do we know that we can sue? Yeah. Got to get some money. Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. Like Fitzy and I, Professional Exteriors and Interiors believes that it's the little things that make a big difference. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the outside and the inside of your home or business. For more information, give Brian a call. The number's right there on the screen. We are taking a week off here, so we'll see you next week. We're just taking 6.5 days off. Next week, we'll promise we'll do better next week, certainly. Fitzy will. He had to carry the show this week as usual. So until then, remember, it's the little things that make a big difference. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day. Amanda, that's awesome.
That's right.
All right, thanks, Fitzy. We'll see you.
All right.